Good news for striking nurses nationwide. We will rise from ashes, says Archbishop. And locals plant rice for consumption.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayre.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Wednesday's news. The Catholic Archdiocese of Mount Hagen said the burning down of St. Joseph's Catholic Church last Friday outside the city was deliberately done, while police in Western Highlands are investigating the burning down of the church in Mount Hagen. Archbishop Douglas Young said the church will rise from the ashes despite the actions of those who are not in the right state of mind. Before it went up in flames, the church served the people for 21 years.
St. Joseph's Catholic Church was burnt to ashes in the early hours of Friday morning last week. The parish priests, sisters, and the surrounding locals were fast asleep when they heard an explosion, which was reported to have come from inside the church. The flame proceeded through the building at a lightning speed, seemingly of fuel being spread throughout the building. Police are investigating the incident and are yet to make arrests.
The person was involved, that it was deliberately lit because of the nature of it, that it began with a large explosion and that it proceeded so rapidly through the church building. Does seem to indicate to me as an amateur that there was some kind of fuel involved. It's a great tragedy. It's the first time that this has ever happened in the Archdiocese of Mount Hagen. We are not used to this kind of thing.
The parish priests recalled it was so sudden that they were not able to recover the Blessed Sacrament from the tabernacle. 2 nights before the incident, the statue of Mary was removed and smashed into pieces on the main highway road. Archbishop Douglas Young said a mentally unstable person or persons who do not like the Catholic faith or Christianity deliberately committed the acts.
The building, of course, reflects and has nurtured that life for over 20 years, and they will rise again. The investigation is ongoing. My own guess is that it is somebody who is not right in their head.
Surrounding locals at the Tokoba area and the Catholic faithfuls are mourning the loss of the old church, which has stood the test of time. It has seen baptism, dedication and marriages performed there. A fundraising drive will soon start after the mourning period. The Mount Hagen Archdiocese has committed to provide support at this time.
When the time comes, the whole church of the Archdiocese, if not of Papua New Guinea, will stand by them to support them to rise from these ashes and build an even better church following on from the one that they have lost.
Vasanata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Group Operations Manager at the Sanctuary Hotel Resort and Spa, Jamie Pang, has been detained by police over connections to drug trafficking in the country. Police acting on a search warrant picked him up last night. He's detained by police for further questioning. Police Commissioner David Manning said police found a number of firearms, ammunitions and methamphetamine in his possession. His apprehension is the result of ongoing police investigation on the trafficking of illicit substances or drugs. Manning said once police investigation through the process of questioning is completed, appropriated charges will be laid. At this stage, Mr. Pang has not been charged. Environment Minister Wera Morris says it is time to implement the COP26 outcomes. Morris says he will present a report to the National Executive Council to endorse and deliberate bilateral agreements. The Environment Minister says despite criticisms, the COP26 Leaders Summit is critical for PNG going into the future.
The head of PNG envoy arrived yesterday following the conclusion of the COP26 Leaders Summit in Glasgow, Scotland. Minister Morris says the summit did draw some decisions to uphold the Paris Agreement. Morris said the summit saw different countries bring their concern to the table.
It's one that is of economics. and that you know that all the countries present were there for their own respective interests, and so did we, Papua New Guinea. Now the fact that we know the outcome, then we'll basically position ourselves to actually ensure that we capture what we can.
A number of agreements were signed at Glasgow by the PNG delegation. Minister Morris said these are critical decisions to address climate change impacts. Morris said industrialized nations must increase climate financing and support smaller nations.
One of the major issues that has been the subject of the summit is for the developed world to make the commitments. Despite the fact that there's been commitments of 100 billion every year for the next 5 years to arrive at the fund of 500 billion for climate fund, that is yet to be seen. And that's one of the things that we expressed very strongly, especially for those countries like Papua New Guinea who had become the major impact of the impacts of climate change.
Concluding his statement for the COP26 meet, Minister Mori cleared the allegations over the expense spent on the PNG envoy.
Cabinet approved the expenditures of money for us to go. You know, whether it be 3 million or 5 million, that's the prerogative of Cabinet. What we need to see is the outcome. And that's why I'm just celebrating the outcome. And I believe that it was money well spent. Because I know that the agreements that we have signed up with, we only need to, we have to walk them through.
The next COP Leaders Summit will be held in Egypt in 2022. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more stories after these short messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. Good news for nurses throughout the country. The Nurses Association confirms the government through Treasury will issue documents for payment tomorrow. This follows a sit-in protest which started on Monday last week over outstanding industrial awards promised for 2021 to 2023.
The wait is now almost over for the nurses. They will finally see the outcome of their peaceful sit-in protest. Today, the Nurses Association came back with the results for their members following a tribunal to settle what was outstanding.
To ensure all our members throughout the country, and the amount that she will be releasing is 7 million, which she will deliver to us at Department of Labor through the same process that we have gone through. It is a very big relief for us, the executives and members throughout the country, because in this very crucial time of COVID pandemic and Delta variant, and nurses getting infected and few have died on, it is a very big achievement for all the nurses throughout the country. Through their support, in their solidarity for standing up together as one, we were able to achieve what we want to achieve. And the answer has been given to us already in today, which will be physically presented to us tomorrow morning.
There are many clauses under the agreed Nurses Industrial Awards 2021 to 2023, but medical and life insurance cover will be paramount.
Priority will be given to life and medical cover for nurses throughout the country, and that will be facilitated as an immediate priority. And all the awards, all the other clauses in the awards will be configured and has been captured as per the Treasury Department. It was captured in the budget for 2022, so effective first quarter of 2022 or towards the end of this quarter, they will look at getting those awards, some awards implemented.
With the COVID pandemic and other challenges apart from the COVID, and funding is a bit of a problem. However, I want to thank the government of the day through the concerned parties.
The Nurses Association was grateful for the tribunal that helped brought the parties together. to the roundtable. The nurses will continue their sitting tomorrow until they receive the confirmation in black and white.
The documents and the time frame and the warrant that Department of Treasury and Department of Finance will present us tomorrow. And that we are waiting. While in waiting, our sitting protest will still continue today and tomorrow as well.
Bradley Valenaki, National EMTV News.
A local in New Ireland province has taught his community to grow rice for personal consumption. Boslogo Silabara from Metaseleng LLG in New Hanover, New Ireland province, is a former employee of Nari in East New Britain. He recently returned home and has been encouraging locals to cultivate rice and downstream commodities like cocoa, coffee and cassava. New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan was invited to launch the rice mill.
Located north of Caving on the island of New Hangover is Metaseleng, a small community that is now farming rice. It takes 2 hours by speedboat to get here, and this community remains an isolated part of New Ireland. The people here make long and expensive boat trips to access basic services. But this is changing with specialized skills shared by Boslogo Silabara.
Kami looking more lawas ting belong all finish. All right. Time me looking more lawas ting finish mi kiram na mi toki mol na okay. You pla pomi mon pla lik organization now na. By pla ma mi distribute him this all rice na. You pla plan him. Na mi ba mi go kam mol sem long. Check him you pla now long. How by you play plan him rice na how by me come up him by come up finished product long him.
With the new agriculture knowledge in Metaseleng, locals are now growing rice, coffee and cassava for personal consumption. New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan congratulates locals for taking the step towards self-reliance in agriculture. Salatiel Suruli is a rice farmer who owns 2 hectares of rice plots. There are at least 20 other rice plots scattered throughout the ward. After seeing the mass production of rice, the Division of Primary Industries assisted the local farming association with 2 rice mills, which is proving a great assistance for locals.
We've been starting this block long cacao, behind long cacao boring come up na. It's sense come long coconuts now, we plan coconuts. So behind long coconuts long grow, rice project come. Na mi kisim 2 kilo tasol long planim. So this la rice now mi just kisim 3 plamun before long buy mi plavas long.
Rice farming is becoming more common in Papua New Guinea, with locals now milling rice for consumption while others putting it on the shelves as a commodity. To celebrate this milestone in agriculture, 60 bags of milled rice were displayed during the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Thaklagunga, National EMTV News.
Air New Guinea has resumed Fokker jet services into Medang province commencing today. The resumption of flights follows the completion of the runway maintenance work conducted by the National Airports Corporation. During the construction, Air New Guinea operated flights out of Medang using Dash 8 aircrafts, and passenger numbers were restricted to 20 at times due to the short runway. Meanwhile, Air New Guinea plans to introduce additional flights into Medang if the demand arises during the peak period. The Medang Provincial Executive Council is in Sidor in the Rai Coast district for the PEC meeting. Under Governor Yama's Going Rural policy, the provincial government is more focused to bring service delivery to rural communities. 2 new dormitories and a new classroom for Sidor High School were also commissioned.
Governor Peter Yama flew into Sidor to join fellow PEC members. They were welcomed by the locals. Visiting Sidor is a breakthrough for Governor Yama since 2017.
Me come here today, right question to give him vote on me. Now how are you talking through? Right question to give vote on me. But me sabe also, right question and me one blood very important province in the Median district. Because you like that big project blood you blood long busino body the place where me come na president come me resource on lo hanta na you blood temple stabia lo basamuk. You plan you making multi-billion kina project long papa ni government kisi more money lo me because no yumi.
Sidor Station is one of the outer areas of Medang province. For Governor Yama, he wants to reach rural communities and improve service delivery. He said Sidor High will receive additional support to its capacity.
50,000 to school, at the same time long all this problem mission. Okay, yeah.
A festival was also held, the Kangal Festival, with songs and dances were only sung and performed during the night. So far, PEC meetings have been held in Bogia, Sumkar and now Raikost. The next PEC will be held in Usino-Bondi district. Jacob Power Jr., National MTV News.
And now looking at the NAS fund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina is buying $0.2775 $, $0.3762 Australian dollars, $0.3931 New Zealand dollars, and 31.28 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa and copra closed higher. Crude oil is trading lower, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National MTV News continues with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Prime Minister James Marape made a clear stance when responding to the protest to Parliament House yesterday. The petitioners demanded a response from the government on the issue of vaccination. The Prime Minister maintains that vaccination is voluntary. However, citizens must also take responsibility for their actions. Debate continued in Parliament on day 2 of the November session.
I just want to make a brief response. The petition was received. We've looked through the petition, and in summary, the petition basically called for that they made an inference or make him talk, if I could speak in pidgin, for better use of word to ensure clarity is gone across our country. Only talk no cut vaccine. Vaccine maski. No can mandatory vaccine not bla talk to. Only talk not la 3 point me summarize him only talk Rousing Pandemic Act. And this was basically the essence of the protest that took place yesterday. Me like kissing this time lo make him go out long all citizens blame me, especially online long 9 Mile. Line where all come bung, we play looks at one map or come out or bungi come long. Me like talks away long all line come out. Also, country believe me, I mean, you got mandatory vaccination. How much la time, but me play stand up here and talk some vaccine, mandatory. And so the protest keeps on coming, and we are observing closely where source blood is la protest of la come up yet. Vaccine. Me plan to make him mandatory from day one. I mean, like clear him good look at a man marry across our country. No can harem German doctor was some vaccines a mandatory law, MIPLA, in as far as government policy is concerned. We respect our people's right to freedom of choice, especially when it comes to sensitive matters like this.
Police in the nation's capital will not allow any more gathering tomorrow outside the Parliament House. Acting NCD Metropolitan Commander Superintendent Chris Tamari said they have identified two groups of protesters yesterday who gave the government 48 hours to respond to their petition on the no jab, no job policy. He said the government has responded to the petition in Parliament today, so there is simply no need for the protesters to gather outside Parliament again. Meanwhile, Assistant Police Commissioner Anthony Wagambi Jr. said people must also be considerate of the country's struggling health system and limit large gatherings. A large gathering at this time provides an avenue for the spread of COVID-19, a deadly virus which has already claimed hundreds of lives in the country. National Capital District Provincial Health Authority CEO Stephen Yenny says the decline in COVID cases in the nation's capital is owed mainly to the enforcement of the new Plapasin protocols. NCC recorded 69 new cases since Thursday last week, 1,275 for the last 21 days, and no deaths recorded nationwide. He urges the public to continue to adhere to measures.
I think it was that 109,000 or 106,000 or 92,000 by the end of this year to reach the 40,000 target that we are aiming to achieve for NCD. So partly the reason why we've seen a decline in our positive rate is basically to do with our intervention measures that we've put in so far that help us to see a decline in the number, and also the responsibility that the public and everyone is taking at the moment, particularly for the corporates. We have to comment that every staff in the corporate and the public sector are getting vaccinated, and also enforcing and ensuring that everyone is complying to the Plapasin protocol. Masking has got to be mandatory by everyone, particularly in the control environment, which is office, government, and business, and the uncontrolled environment.
Watabung Primary School in Daulo District, Eastern Highlands Province will now have access to a new science laboratory and other school infrastructure. This was made possible through support from the Daulo District Development Authority. A senior teacher says this vital infrastructure development will help improve the quality of education in the district.
The Daulo District Development Authority is assisting schools in the district with basic school infrastructure to help improve the quality of education. For Watabung Primary School, solar panels were installed to support the school with electricity. A science laboratory and a 4-in-1 double classroom is also under construction.
Our project is coming almost towards the end. It's only the final touches that they are going to put, the carpenters, and it will be finished.
Watabung Primary School is one of the oldest schools in the district, established before independence. It has over 500 students and 18 teachers. With this support from the DDA, there are plans to develop the school into a junior high school.
All right, these buildings, because we are going to accommodate our grade 9s next year. The school is set to have a grade 9 next year, 2021. That's why our carpenters, our leaders are doing all what they can do to try to put up the projects to bring the status of the school up to the grade 9 so we could have our junior high school here.
However, there are many challenges. According to the senior teacher, there is a need for more teachers' houses to cater for the teachers. And with the school located along the highway, there are risks of students getting hit by moving vehicles. The teacher says there is a need for proper fencing.
We need a proper fence. A proper fence should be erected so students will be safe in the school and also out of the school on the road. That's why I'm just making an appeal.
But despite these challenges, they are thankful that the Daulo DDA has stepped in to support the school. So far, the DDA has spent over 10 million kina in the education sector.
Looking at the education and one big plus something inside law, district law Mipla like in plenty old man. Only picking all must go to school, na plenty all must go. Federal education belong on that is like
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
The PNG National Research Institute, in collaboration with the Department of Higher Education, will conduct activities relating to economic and social development. The partnership is aimed at strengthening research and information exchange between the two institutions.
After several discussions, PNG National Research Institute and the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology will collaborate to carry out research activities,
so that we can contribute to research, especially in the space of higher education and research, science and technology, but in particular issues relating to higher education and technical education, and also research.
The partnership will look into policy issues that arise as a result of the change in the political climax.
Every time a new government comes in, it introduces new policy in terms of higher and technical education, and also the general education. These two are somehow connected, and they are somehow affected in terms of the policy and decision making. So, for instance, if there is a free education, there is always an effect, and it's felt at the higher education. So these are some of the issues that we want to look into, and in terms of the research, so that we are able to inform government to make good decisions.
Another area that will be given attention to will be technical education. NRI Acting Director Dr. Osborne says the country needs more technical people to minimize hiring of external assistants.
I think the lesson of the PNG LNG project provided a good lesson. When the project started, we didn't have technical persons to fill the position. So what we did was we went to bring external assistance to provide. So that's something that how can we develop our skills, so that, because these are job opportunities that the people can be engaged. If we don't have, we have no choice but to go and bring external expertise.
DHES Acting Secretary Dr. Francis also shared same sentiments, but he is hoping that the research partnership will encourage other government agencies to build up their research capacity.
We also need to boost the capacity of research. We need research officers in government agencies that will have to do research and inform. Is lacking. We need more research officers in government agencies, so that they're able to research, inform and influence policy outcomes.
Podivai, National MTV News.
Karukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo presented $500,000 kina yesterday to the Women's Microbank, fulfilling a commitment he made some months ago to help women groups in his electorate to get into business. In making the presentation, the member said women are managers of homes and it is worth empowering and supporting them.
Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo presented a check of $500,000 kina to the Women's Microbank, or the Mama Bank, as part of providing seed capital and revolving fund to help established women groups in his electorate get into business.
Helping women is helping a mother of, a nation now. Nations are born out of a woman, and I see the significance of helping women get involved in business, especially through SME. And I'm calling on the government, of which I am part of, to pay more attention to SME to grow, especially the informal sector of this country, to boost the economy.
MP Isoaimo, who is also Vice Minister for Treasury, said in explaining the investment that such programs will help boost PNG's economy during these challenging times. Women's Microbank Chairman Ricky Mitio said the initiative falls well with the microbank's vision in reaching out to women, especially in rural areas.
Mama Bank is focused on all the women of the rural areas of PNG, particularly the informal, to those who are ignored sector of the community. But most importantly, Vice Minister, our focus is to empower women who are traditionally the treasurers of home. They are treasurers of home because if you give them money in a family, they will manage with care, do care, and ensure that the money is used for more productive purposes within the family.
So helping those mamas, not only in the formal sector, but in informal sector, in a group mechanism, in cooperative societies, in SRG groups, that makes them more stronger, and that is the way they can go to the next level. They need support now, not only from you. First of all, thanks to you and congratulate to you. You are giving your hand to support them, but at the same time, it is everybody's duty. It's Mama Bank's duty. It is all the civil society duty, everybody's duty to support them so that they can grow.
CEO Das from the Mama Bank thanked MP Isoaimo for his support through the microbank and said they look forward to assisting more women groups in Kairuku-Hiri district. The Women's Microbank has 13 establishments in 9 provinces throughout the country.
Governor-General Serbob Dada yesterday executed on behalf of the state a contract for the reconstruction and upgrading of a road and bridge along the Highlands Highway in Morbi Province. In an interview with EMTV News, Works Secretary David Were said the project is fully funded by the national government through a loan arrangement with Exim Bank of China.
Final stage of the Leh Najab section. It was under a 5-year program, but due to funding issues, we were a bit slow in implementing the entire section from Bungandi roundabout all the way to Leh Airport Junction. This is the final phase, as I've said. We're maintaining the 4-lane standard, and with footpaths, walkways, proper drainage. It also includes a 4-lane bridge about 90 meters on the Yalu River. And we're also doing a lot of culvert works and headworks to give a very high standard 4-lane highway for Leh City, Leh to Najab. It cost 379 million. That includes GST. It's fully funded by government of PNC under the Connect PNC program. So it's an ongoing program. As I've said, we targeted for the last 5 years, but it's been slow. But eventually it's happening, and a few years down the line, we hope that people of Leh City can experience a better 4-lane standard roads. This is an ongoing road project together with the city roads. We're also completing the city roads to a concrete standard. So in the many years to come, these roads can last up to 40, 50 years. We're doing cement roads now, so the quality is very high, and of course, it comes with a high cost, but the returns are going to be good with durability and long years of service.
You're watching National EMTV News. Chukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Papua New Guinea's professional boxing icon Martin Benny was returned to his home village of Waima in the Kairuku-Hiri district yesterday. A convoy of friends, family and boxers drove all the way to his village to his final resting place.
It was an early morning takeoff
for the convoy that carried the body of the late boxing legend Martin Benny. As early as 1 a.m., the convoy left Port Moresby for Waima in the Kairuku-Hiri district along the Hiritano Highway. The final journey home for the man from Waima, who at the age of 22 set off to pursue a career in professional boxing, reaching the pinnacle of his career just close to PNG's independence. Prior to his passing, the late Martin Benny was a promoter in Ben Micah's Oceania Fight Promotions. Micah himself, the president of PNG Professional Boxing. The two headed a revival of the code of pro boxing, and Micah always had the respect for Benny, and that respect showed during the last journey home for Martin Benny.
He went out as Martin Upi Benny. No had name, no had future too. He set out to look for a future. Today, we return to you, the king of boxing. We return to you, the legend of boxing, sporting hero of Papua New Guinea. This village has to be proud that out of all of you, dead and living today and in the future, there will never be another Martin Benny from Waima or from my village or from Papua New Guinea. We deliver to you today the one and only great Martin Upi Benny as the king of boxing, as the legend of boxing, the sporting hero and icon of sports in Papua New Guinea and recognized in Australia and the world.
The late Martin Benny died from a heart attack during a boxing tournament hosted by the Oceania Fight Promotions. He leaves a legacy that hasn't been matched in the sport of pro boxing in a long time. Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
Snacks Tigers assistant coach Oscar Tonga is the likely replacement for the outgoing head coach Stanley Tappend. Following Tappend's appointment as the SP Hunters assistant coach, he is recommending Oscar to lead Tigers in 2022.
The Snacks Tigers Club is one of Papua New Guinea's well-established franchise in the National Rugby League competition. Under the command of super coach Stanley Tappend, Tigers have been prominent over the past years. Tappend has been instrumental in the success of the Lay Biscuit-sponsored side. His departure leaves a void in the club, but he is confident the team will remain consistent and maintain its standard next season.
I think the club is a really good place at the moment. Over the last 9.5 years, we've really worked hard, not myself, but all the other coaching staffs, plus the sponsors, to get the club to where it is now. And for me, leaving should not really change much, because the things that matter to us most, or the club, the things that make the club successful, will still be there. I'm just one person that's going, whoever the next coach is. I think we've done our work to make sure that the club will be healthy.
Tappend's elevation to his new role with the SP Hunters paves way for the Tigers' head coach position. Tappend has recommended his assistant Oscar Tonga to lead the club in 2022. Tappend believes Oscar is the man for the top job.
In terms of coaching, I think Oscar Tonga is ready to coach the side, and with a lot of that support staff around him. So I think the support staff, the people that help Oscar, will be important. He will be just taking most of the limelight, but the support staff that he works with him, which no one is missing from last couple of years. So I think Oscar Tonga, I'd be recommending Oscar to the sponsors and that to have the driver's seat when the coaching role is up.
Tappend will join Hunters as the assistant coach for the Intrust Super Cup 2022 season. Suli Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Moniplus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Cloudy with rainy periods in Port Moresby and Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, partly cloudy with a few showers in Lae and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with brief showers possible in Lorengau and Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with rainy periods, then morning fog in Mount Hagen and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Wednesday, 17th November 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe, and bye for now.